In this video, I'm going to talk about a problem that thousands and thousands of people have. I polled basically tens of thousands of grapplers all over the world asking what their #1 guard passing or being inside the guard problems were. And over like a huge margin was basically keeping your posture inside somebody's guard. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to keep your posture inside somebody's guard, basically with different scenarios as well, and hopefully it helps you out. So when I'm inside Russ's guard here, one of the most common things that people learn to keep their posture is to put their hands like towards the hip line here. This is extremely common. Let me actually turn more. So it's to basically put the hands right towards the hip line. A lot of people learn this, or they learn to put one hand towards the hip line and an elbow on the inside here as well. Whether you're wearing gi or you're not wearing the gi. If I was wearing the gi here, then I'll grab Russ's pants and I'll do these things. However, I've learned throughout the years that, in my opinion, this really isn't the best option. And the reason for that, especially if I'm going with different size individuals, is by putting my hand towards the hip line here, a little bit towards the diaphragm. It doesn't really stop him from being able to sit up on me. If he was to sit up, he can still sit up and grab me. And he can work to break me down. It also doesn't do much to stop him from pulling my elbows out, basically flaring them out and breaking me down this way as well. It also doesn't stop the fact that if he was grabbing both of my wrists here and pushing them up and driving in, now he drives his knees in here, and then he's going to work to break me down that way as well. So I found that this particular situation where you're putting your hands on the hips actually isn't as effective as other things. And this is just my particular opinion. I'm not going to go and say that it's completely wrong, because somebody might show you a detail that I might not be aware of that makes this better for you. However, my experience personally and with my students throughout the years is that I don't like teaching this. I don't like teaching this, and I usually don't like the way people learn this. So we're just going to do a little change, and we're going to do what I call sticky hands. Sticky hands is the premise of finding a home base on your opponent's body and then sticking your hands dependent on how your opponent is moving. So what I want to do is I want to find what's called the xiphoid process. The xiphoid process is that like little notch right underneath your sternum there. It doesn't matter how big the individual is. They can be shorter, they can be taller, they can be heavier. I still want to find that area and do the best I can. And this applies gi or no gi. So the xiphoid process is right here, okay? So I want to put my hand basically right at the upside down, it's like the upside down heart of the ribs here. I want to find it, like I'm giving him CPR, essentially. Just like this. Because now the difference is, when I have my one hand here, I only need one hand, I don't have two hands. When I have my one hand here, when Russ now goes to bring his knees in and break me down, he's going to have a lot more trouble. It's going to make it much harder for him to sit up, as opposed to if I was here. If I'm here and I'm down by his hips, whether I'm here or I'm here, he can still drive his knees forward and break me down, okay? We're not rolling or anything, but I guarantee you, most of you who put your hands here, you experience somebody still breaking you down. It's pretty much a guarantee. So when I'm here like this, even if I have my other elbow inside here, when he goes to sit up on me, he physically cannot sit up far enough. And even when he drives his knees in, he can't use the combination of him sitting up and him driving his knees in. It's actual leverage, right? Because I'm putting my hand in a proper leverage point, it doesn't matter how strong his abs are. He physically cannot stay up. Even if he goes to try to stay up as long as you can with the crunch, it physically it's demanding. It's very demanding, and I feel like I'm doing absolutely nothing, honestly. So we want to work on finding this xiphoid process. And if he were to move my hand, so if he moves my hand, I always switch. I always find it again. If he moves my hand again, I'm always switching. I'm always trying to find that home base position of the sticky hands concept. Now, a lot of people might ask, well, if your arm is sticking out like this, can't they arm bar you? Well, first of all, by having that question in general, it's the principle of knowledge is power. This is a repetitive concept that I talk about all the time. If you have the knowledge that he's going to try to go for an armbar, you have the power to deal with it. So if I'm here like this and he goes to go for an armbar, I'm already driving my elbows in and I'm already passing. by me playing this concept, by me playing sticky hands, which you'll see once you do this, you don't even need to, you should not be looking at the person first of all. So I shouldn't be looking at him. By playing this concept of sticky hands, and you can make them predictable. If he does go to open his guard to go for armbar, my elbows are in already. I already know. And also, for him to go for a proper armbar, he actually needs my hand past his xiphoid process. Okay? So if we turn this way, by me being in the xiphoid process area, right, the home base, and the reason why I keep talking about the xiphoid process is because that's a key term that will help you remember to put your hand in the proper place. So when I put my hand here in this xiphoid process area, if he goes to go for an armbar, even without me moving the arm, he physically can't do it well. He needs my hand to go past that area. So once my hand goes past the area, now when he goes to go for the armbar, it immediately changes. It was literally like 2 inches. So if I stay within this area here, he should not be able to successfully armbar me. He should not be able to successfully triangle choke me. Even when we're here and he goes to triangle choke me, it can't work well. It just does not work very well. But if I move my hand up 1 inch or 2 inches, now when he goes to do the same thing, now he successfully has that clearance to get closer. It's such a minute detail, but it actually makes an extremely huge difference. Now if we take this a little bit further here, this guy's alive, right? He's alive, he's trying to break my posture. This is where the true sticky hands concept comes in. And if you were old school like video game player and you played Street Fighter, I also call this the E-Honda. The E-Honda is basically he's like here like this, sticking his hands all over the place. So when I'm here, right, if he goes to reach with his left arm to grab my head, I stick on his left shoulder. Then I can replace with my left hand or keep my right hand here, it doesn't matter. I always want to have the home base covered. If he goes to reach with his right arm, I stick. If he just try to break my posture here, I'm looking up. So the whole time, I'm not even looking at it. You should not look at them. And that might be a different video, right? Because if I look at him, I'm automatically breaking my own posture. Even when I'm here, if he were to like try to grab my head, the difference between here and let go and here is huge. So now when he goes to reach, he can't reach the back of my head. But even with sticky, if he goes to reach, he now can reach the back of my head. So it doesn't matter how good Russ looks, right? You know, he might have a pretty face or pretty eyes, but I don't need to look at him. I should be looking up. Find a place to zone in on, and then use your sticky hands. Use your peripheral vision to see what they're doing. So when he goes to reach with his right hand, boom, reach with his left. Alternating. I'm always finding the home base, but I'm putting my hands there. The only reason I look down is so I can point to where I was going. But you don't want to look down. If you watch me rolling and I do posture, I'm always like this. I'm not looking down at the individual. Now what happens, and we're going to go a little bit more advanced here, what happens if he does pull my arm, right? So he starts pulling my arm. Here, look what I do. I put my elbow right into his xiphoid process. The reason being is because now when he goes to grab my head, oh yeah, it's hard. Then I put my other hand on his body. Go ahead, you can reach with it. I put my hand on his shoulder, his body, and then I rip off. Now I find the home base again with my hand. I want to build my way up. So as we're going, if I feel like he does sit up, go to sit up, oh, look, I elbow him right in his xiphoid process. I'm not like doing a Muay Thai strike, but now when he goes to get my posture, right, if you hear like the little, so we turn this way, if you hear like the little grunt, it's not comfortable. So all I'm doing, he goes to sit up, boom, I hit him with the elbow. If he goes to slide my arm across, look what I did. I found the home base again. Now he goes to get the posture, it's not gonna work very well. All right, and there's a lot more to it, but if you work on this general premise and look, I'm sitting well on my heels here, right? I'm not up like this. If I'm up like this, then he's gonna break my posture down more. Nice and good posture. If you have trouble doing this, practice doing this like in front of your television, right? Just a few minutes a day, you're gonna get better and better at it. Here, good posture. He goes to reach, boom, find him. He keeps working, he moves my arms. If I don't use my elbow unless I feel him sitting up. So if he doesn't get past this point here, I don't use my elbow. So as we keep playing, eventually yes, see what he just did? He did it exactly as I started explaining. Eventually what happens is the person opens their guard because they don't know how else to grab your head. And notice how I brought my elbows in right away. It was reflexive. You want to get to that point. You make them predictable. Sticky hands makes your opponents predictable. So it gets to the point where he realizes if he keeps his legs closed, he's going to have trouble grabbing my head. So he opens them to grab my head. Boom! I'm already in my position, or I stand up, right? And I start working my passes from there. Whatever passing situation that you like to do. That is what sticky hands does. It makes them predictable, and it controls the posture very well. I don't believe in the old school method of putting your hands on the hips, put it low on the diaphragm. I truly believe in this method, and it really has been working for years for me and for those who I teach as well. So also, we're going to talk more on gi situations if it makes it different too, and we'll talk about that either in this video or possibly another one.